Good evening, everybody. I hope you are well. The sun is shining. We are going to start in a couple of minutes' time. Just welcome Julia from London. Welcome Taruna from India. Chiki Mum Boss from Montreal. Dimitri from South Africa. Julia from Cambridge. Andrea from Anglia. From London. Simon from Huntingdon. Welcome. We will be starting in a couple of minutes. We'll just wait for everybody to arrive and then we'll get going. Tonight's session is really about social selling. Hi, Louis. Louis Fernando Botello. We've got a Vasco Botello here, Louis. And hi, Gary. So we're going to talk about social selling again tonight. We did this about 7 or 8 weeks ago, so we're going to talk about that a little bit more tonight. And I may give you a little bit of a different spin on tonight, so do stay if you came to the last session. Some of the slides are similar, but we'll probably go through some things in a little bit more detail. Louis is your cousin. So thank you for joining us. Tonight's session, hi, Yanita. Tonight's session is an interactive training session. I've got nothing to sell, so I'm not going to give you kind of dangle a carrot and then leave you hanging. I'm just going to give you the training. The only thing I would ask is if you get value from tonight's training session, please do subscribe on the channel. Please interact with me as well. It makes me feel great not knowing I'm talking to a piece of technology and a lens all evening. So the idea of tonight is just to give value, and we have a principle of if we can give value, people are going to tell other people about us, subscribe to our social channels, and when they need help, they know where we are. So that's why we're doing tonight. So it's nice to see a few of you on braving the summer. I placed a bet in the office today, and I said, I don't think a lot of people are going to come tonight because it's nice weather. People want to be outside. It's August. Despite all that's going on, we kind of want to be enjoying the downtime of the summer here. And actually, if I could, I'd spin my camera around. Right behind the camera, I have sky and birds flying and trees. And it's really, I'm giving all of that up to be with you tonight. So let's get started. If you've never been to one of these, where we run Maverrik Lives every week on a Tuesday at 7, and we cover a different topic every week. We've just produced the latest events, and they're on our Eventbrite, and they're brand new topics taking us all the way, I think, up to the end of October. So do subscribe, and when they come up, you can get highly involved. And what I might do tonight, just to make it a little bit different, whilst we've got Louis Botello on, I might bring Vasco Botello on too. So we'll kickstart, and feel free as we go to put questions in the comments. So I've got the comments right in front of me here, so I can see all of your comments. And if there is things that you go, how would this work for me? Do put that into the comments, and we'll happily go through those. And I may do some demos towards the end as well if people want to. So here we go. Let me just get my screen and all that gadgetry ready. So I'm just going to share with you a bit about how I got into social selling, why a lot of people struggle to sell socially, why people struggle to do it. I'm just going to teach you the strategy we use for getting results, about problems and how problems are the key way to break away from that kind of price pressure in selling. I wouldn't classify myself as a salesperson. I would say I'm probably a marketer, but problems and solutions and how to get away from that kind of race to the bottom pricing is critical. I'll show you 2 simple strategies. One you can use on Facebook, one you can use on LinkedIn. And I'll show you some things you can do to accelerate this process. So, we'll do Q&A. Hi, Terry. We'll do some Q&A at the end, and maybe some demos. If you're all still up for it, we'll do some demos. So, Just a little bit of background about me. I've been in business development in various different forms, whether it be my own business, working for other companies, as a consultant or as an employee, for 20 years. And absolutely hated making cold calls, but loved the thrill of getting new business. Didn't feel comfortable selling, didn't feel like, I always felt like all of that stuff that people tells you have to do to sell just didn't feel natural to me. It didn't feel like it worked. But I needed to hit numbers, so I did what I needed to do to make it work. And I did make it work, but not in the same way that a classic salesperson would do. I hated cold calls, still do. I'm still doing social selling myself. Employed 21 people now. We hired somebody during lockdown. Still hate cold calling. Do you know what it is? It's just that forced niceness and that pretense you have to put on to kind of warm people up. I just don't like it. And I don't think I like the rejection. I don't know whether, if you do cold calling, how do you cope? And maybe share this in the comments. How do you deal with the fact that, 99% or 97% of your calls are literally no, 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 no? So I taught this method and replicated this method, and it's evolving all the time as the world changes and life adjusts, and particularly in lockdown, it's changed quite a bit with the way people are working. But we do hit our numbers. We do hit our numbers as a business. And we have a joke in the office. Vasco is sat here with me, and he may appear, but I'll have to lower the screen to let him appear because he's a little bit shorter than me. And yeah, thank you. Cold calling, it's a tough job. I wouldn't say it's a total waste of time because I know some people who do it very, very well, but you have to have a real thick skin to make that work. Real thick skin. But I was talking in the office this morning about our eagerness to get inbound inquiries, and that's what we're looking for really in social media. In all of our efforts, we want people interested in us and coming to us because they see that we can help them solve a problem. And as we were talking this morning, a client came in and made an inquiry. An email came in straight away, and it was like, woohoo! That's what we're all about. So we're looking for anything that bring leads to us without us having to do that kind of pushy, high pressure stuff. So I'm just going to share with you my model. We have got a track record of how this model works. During lockdown, we helped businesses. Louise just put something in the comments which has distracted me. Sorry. During lockdown, we've taught this to a number of people, and during those sessions, they've actually seen and implemented it. And I've done it as a coaching session. So each week and one client has not generated leads worth, not had inquiries or quotes worth, but actually invoiced £208,000 during lockdown. And another client who we work with in Japan, they billed $1.5 million. Yeah, $1.5 million during lockdown. So these things do work. But what I am going to say to you is, this is a testimonial, but there's something that's really important I need to share with you before we get into the practicalities of how you do it. Yes, there are amazing results, but the fundamental principles of social selling is consistency. And the reason I say this is if you're not consistent in social selling and in your approach, you do that whole connect and pitch, waves of effort, and it really is totally inconsistent. And then you have this scenario where you go, oh, there's no point doing social media. There's no point doing this. It doesn't work. I'll just do my own thing. And then you try your own thing, but you don't apply any consistent to it, and it fails. And what I see a lot is people who go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn, because they're the main ones, really. They're the real main ones. Instagram to some degree, but they're the main ones where you can really make a difference. They'll go on and be really inconsistent, then say it doesn't work, and of course then they don't try, and it just fails. It just absolutely fails. But what we have seen is when people apply a consistent effort, you see this compounding effect upon what you're getting from your results. So what will happen is you'll start, and I'm going to tell you this straight, if you want to go all in on social selling, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, particularly if you hate cold calling. But the first month or two is going to be hard slog. Not hard slog as in hard work, but you're going to have disappointments, letdowns, frustrations, mental blocks, and sometimes you'll just feel like, oh, I could just skip today. I could just not do today. I'll put it off till next week. But that is how it doesn't work. Because remember, we're dealing with technology, and these platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, these platforms work on an algorithm, and those algorithms favor frequency and consistency. So you dip out, you might as well be back to square one. So really, really important that you understand that. And I'm just going to encourage you, how much are 10 new clients worth a month to you? Think about that number in your head. Yeah. Would 10 new customers convince you to show up consistently? I'm not selling anything here tonight, so I'm not trying to trick you into answering yeses here. I have got no slide or no promotion in this deck. But what I'm trying to get you to think about is, if you put the work in for, say, the next 3 months on social selling, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be Instagram, if you put the work in, you will get the result out. But it won't be tomorrow. It will be over time. It will build and build. And in 3 months' time, you'll say, this was the best thing I did. But if you don't apply it consistently, you will waste your time. And I struggle, to be honest with you, maintaining all of the channels. Because I've got YouTube to look after, I've got LinkedIn to look after, I've got Facebook to look after, I've got a Facebook business page to look after. It's a big job, and I generally focus on 2 channels at once. 2 channels at once. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go in with 2 channels, do 2 channels, make them work. Don't think that you should go after everything and then drop half of it because it's too much. Just do what you can. 1 channel, 2 channels. Just decide and lock onto that, but don't overwhelm yourself. Have a go with 1. My favorite is LinkedIn. My second favorite is YouTube, and my third is probably Facebook, maybe Instagram. But you need to be consistent. I think I'm emphasizing that point. So lead generation is a game of numbers. Social selling is a game of relationships. There's a big difference between lead generation and social selling. Lead generation is find people who want what I can sell. Social selling is build relationships with people who can buy. There's a bit of a difference. One is hunting and the other one is attracting. One is chasing down an opportunity. The other one is creating an opportunity. So think about it like that. Just as an aside, by the way, if you want to find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, please do come connect with me, friend request me. I'll accept everybody. I'm pretty open in the way I live my life, so you can come find me. I'm not going to be a diva about who I accept or connect with. So social selling is about relationships, about building trust. And I have principle that social selling is the way to get free leads. It's not they come inbound inquiries, people respond to what you're talking about, people engage and interact with you and you engage with them, and it generates trust and generates leads. That's the key thing. And Stuart's bang on the money. Consistency is absolutely key in all of this. So you don't need fancy stuff. You don't need any technology. You don't need any ad budget. You don't need anything. It's really, really simple. Absolutely simple. And I'm going to teach you these 2 systems tonight. But I'm going to go through some of the stuff that might help you think about how you talk to your customers and what you should be saying on those posts and in those messages, and whichever way you want to do this. But if you do my stuff, you'll need some ideas. So I call this the 1 strategy, which is this. To get more sales, your ideal clients need to believe that you can solve their problem. That's it. That's all you have to do. You have to get people to believe that you can solve their problem. People don't buy solutions if they don't have a problem, and people don't buy from people they don't believe. So that's just generally the way the world works. It's a universal truth. And when you think about this and go, how is what I'm doing showing people I'm trustworthy, I'm credible, I'm relatable, and how am I showing people that I can help them with a problem, a frustration, a challenge, or a goal they want to achieve? And if you do that, you win. It's that simple. You can make all these complicated strategies, you can write all this marketing waffle, but actually it comes down to, does that person believe you can help them? Because that's how they'll give you what I would say the time of day. In other words, they'll give you a fair hearing. What often we try and do, particularly on LinkedIn, and you see this a lot, is people send a connection request and then you accept them, and then you get this like 7-paragraph sales pitch. And what they're doing is they're trying to convey all the information to convince us to buy from them, to convince us and you and me to do the deal, make a sale. But what they're missing when they do that, what they're ignoring when they do that, is that people just go, who is this person? They don't even know anything about me. May not even be relevant. Why do I even bother? In fact, I'm sure you have this. If you're on LinkedIn, you know full well that you get this instinct that some people, when they send you a connection request, you're waiting for that message to come in with their sales pitch. You're waiting for it. And yet we still do it. People still do it. And they just don't get this. To get more sales, your ideal clients, the people who you're targeting, just need to believe that you can solve their problem. That's all they need to do. They need to believe you can solve their problem. And remember, the goal, for most of us here, the goal is not to get people to click and just buy something now. If that's your business, then maybe you do hit everybody up with just a link. I don't know. But if your goal is to actually sell them into a service or a product that's more considered, they're probably going to want to interact with you. They're probably going to want to have a conversation with you. So actually your goal in all of the things you're doing is not to sell the product on Facebook. It's not to sell the service on LinkedIn. It's actually to sell the reason to have to make an inquiry. Your job is actually to get people to make an inquiry. It's not to sell. And that's where people get confused. So when I'm on LinkedIn and I'm producing my posts and engaging and interacting and doing all the things that I do, my aim is not to get people to click and buy something. My aim is to get people to contact me and say, can you help me? That's what I want. Rainmaker, we're always waiting for that pitch. So that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to sell the product or the service. We're actually trying to convince people that it's worth their time to ask me the question or to ask you the question. That's what we're trying to do. So we're not selling a product or service. We're selling an inquiry, selling a reason to inquire. So how do you get belief? Well, belief is discovered. People don't just believe off facts. As you've seen in elections all the way around the world, people don't believe facts. They believe what they want to believe based on what they see, what they feel, their background, how they're feeling that day. They believe things. So you can't just present facts and say, oh look at our reviews, they're wonderful. People go, oh, yeah, but I don't think you're wonderful. So belief is not logical. It's not analytical. It's something people create for themselves based on the things that they see and the experience and they feel and they think. It's not logical. So they don't just believe you because you say it. So how do you get belief? Belief's about rapport, yeah? Interacting with people, thinking that you're a nice person, a human being. Trust. Do you look like you understand? Trust, it comes in two ways. There's trust in the person in the sense of, do I think that they will look after me and give me the right thing? But there's also the trust of, how do you build trust? Well, actually, if you understand the customer better, if you understand their needs, that builds trust. That builds confidence. So just understanding the customer And that's why I talk about the ideal client. Because your ideal client, the best thing you can do is understand a particular group of people, ideal client, who have a particular problem or challenge or frustration or goal, and then you build your messaging, your content, your social media activity, your social selling activity around that, so that they see that you understand the challenges, goals, dreams, hopes, fears that they have, and that builds trust. Demand. So if you've ever been into a shop where there's a really keen salesperson, something happens, you wander in, and I've done this when I'm looking for a computer or a laptop. You'll go in and somebody will come to you immediately. Now you've gone in there to make a buying decision, but when they come over to you, you actually step back from the sale. You actually step back from the sales process. And that's actually, in their efforts to help you get a solution, they push you away from making the decision. And you need demand, and some of that demand comes from actually not promoting, from actually appearing like you don't need their business, you're not desperate for their business. Really does help you. It really does help you. The other thing that helps encourage belief is credibility. You have no credibility when you hit somebody up on LinkedIn and say, buy now, waffle, 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 buy now, waffle, 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 buy now. There's no credibility there. There's no track record. They have no knowledge of who you are. So how do you build credibility? Well, in belief terms, people are watching. They may not be liking and commenting. They might not be doing everything, but they're looking at you and going, this person seems to know what they're talking about, expert status, but they also seem to have helped other people like me with the same kind of problems. They're sharing, you're sharing, I'm sharing stories of how we've helped other people. So that's how we build credibility. Sharing examples and stories that are relevant to the people with the problem, the frustration, or the goal, or hope, or fear, or dream that we can help. Likability. Yeah? Likability. Do I seem genuine? Do I seem integrated? In other words, when I'm on social media, am I the professional Dean or am I the personal Dean? Or is there no difference? You know, people like to do business with people. And so years ago, we used to have our professional selves and our personal selves, and we're far more integrated between our work and personal life now. So again, likability, people seeing you doing your personal stuff. I don't mean like literally, sharing selfies every 5 minutes, but sharing a bit about you and your life can help people warm to you and build that likability. So that's really important as well. People often overlook that, and they try and push out lots of thought leadership stuff. But part of the allure of building a relationship with somebody is not just seeing what they're talking about, but seeing what they feel and how they interact and seeing their personality in this. And sales is no different. Business owners are no different. We have to have that personality mixed with it. And that's how people warm to us. That's how people engage with us. So building expert status, you can't call yourself an expert. I know everybody loves to do it, but it's not the thing to do. Expert status is something that is given to you. It's not something you seize. If I'm, I would consider I have a lot of knowledge and a lot to give to help businesses grow, to help them sell more and all of those things. But I don't think it's right for me to put the title on me expert, because it's just not done. People have to come to that realization for themselves. So if you let them see you as an expert, if you just show them and demonstrate to them that you know what you're doing, they will see that you're an expert. They will hold you as expert status in expert status. You don't need to declare you're expert. You don't need to overcompensate to prove to people, because the more you try and prove, the more people won't believe. People like to put their beliefs together for themselves, and when you force it, people become cynical and step back. Is all this making sense? Is all this making sense? Everybody still alive? I've not put anybody to sleep in the sun. So, really, really important. Don't try and talk about features and benefits. Don't try and talk about widgets and all of this stuff. Focus in on the problem you solve, not the solution you sell. Yeah? What we try and do, and I'll give you a LinkedIn message as an example. Do you need a web developer? I've just connected with somebody. Dean, do you need a web developer? Well, no. Why can't we ask people about their problems? Why can't we map out what people's problems are? So, Dean, are you frustrated that your website it doesn't do this? Well, maybe I am actually. But what we try and do is we try and sell features and benefits. We try to go to products and say, do you want a product? Do you want a box? Do you want a TV remote? Do you want a mouse? Do you want a wallet? Do you want a car key? Yeah. But actually people buy these things. People want to buy these things to achieve something, to eliminate something or to achieve something. That's why people buy things. That's why people commit their money to buy things. They want an exchange of value. And for them, the value is not in the thing, the service, the product. It's in it's in what the product or the service does for them. Yet we talk so much about the product and not so much about the actual thing, the difference it's going to make. Yeah? Why do people go on diets? They don't go on diets because they want a diet. They go on a diet because they've had too much bad food or they've not been exercising. That's why people go on a diet. They want to lose weight. So they sign up for things. They go on Slim Fast and Slimming World and weird pills and go to the gym and sign up for the gym because they want to eliminate fat. But they don't just decide I'll go to the gym for no reason. Even the people who go and, work up the muscles and all that kind of stuff, why are they going? Because they want the physique. They want something, and the gym is the tool to get them there. So what this means for you, Michael, of course, this recording will be up so you can come revisit it. No problem at all. What this means for you is instead of focusing on selling the gym, sell what the gym can do, or talk about where they are right now and remind them of where their gym could get them. So I talked about this last week, so I'll share it briefly again about the difference between a shopper and a buyer. A shopper and a buyer. So a shopper is somebody who goes, I want to lose weight. I know I'm going to go to the gym, and then goes on to Google and looks for a gym. So then you're in a comparison mode of different gyms based on the customer's preference. But then there are the other people, the buyers, and they are not looking for a gym. They're not looking at anything right now other than, I really should lose weight. I really should slim down. Yeah, that's what they're looking at. And then they're presented with you who understand their challenges, understand their frustrations, understand where they want to get to, and you start giving value, help, and advice and showing them how you can help them, free value, upsell value, all that kind of stuff, how you can help them lose weight. Yeah, that's an example. And that works whether it's B2B or B2C. You expose them to the problem, show them an outcome, and then they will engage with you more so. So in other words, you activate a buyer. Now, one of the fascinating things about people is that, and I discovered this statistic a little while ago, and please go hunt this out because I found it in a couple of different places, and the wording slightly differently, but I pretty much agree with the statistic. 84% of buyers 80% of customers buy from the first person they spoke to. So if we think about shoppers as the people who know what they want and they're just looking to decide where to buy from, so they're the people who Google things, they're the people who go onto Yell.com or websites to find that specific thing. If you appeal to those people, great, go for it, but they're going to evaluate you against other people. Whereas buyers are awakened to the opportunity that they can have an outcome, they can have their problem solved, they can have a solution, they can lose weight, and the gym is the tool, as an example. They get awakened to that and immediately engage with you. Immediately engage with you. And the rule of thumb, 84% of people buy from the first people they interact with, they speak to. So what I'm saying to you is, why don't you get ahead of the curve instead of trying to compete in Google Ads and instead of trying to be the first in SEO and instead of doing all that, go ahead and do that as well if you want to. But where there is less pressure, less price difficulties is when you help people solve a problem when they're a buyer, not when they're a shopper. Oh, need a little breather now. Hopefully you're getting that. The difference between a buyer and a shopper. Buyers are not as price sensitive. They're after an outcome. They want a problem gone and an outcome. Shoppers already know they've got a problem. They know they can achieve an outcome. Now they're looking for the tool. And they're going to compare your tool against other people's tool. Price sensitivity, offer sensitivity, more comparison, more competition. Whereas if you come onto the buyer side, less competition, less price sensitivity. So one of the key things that you're going to need to do, and hopefully you're all still alive, you're still alive and you're not going, oh God, this is a boring guy, is the pain matrix. It's very, very simple. People have lots of different motivations and frustrations, and they generally fall into one of these four camps: time, money, aspiration, and now. Now, time and money make sense. They want to make more money. They want to save money. They want to cut their costs. They want to raise their sales. Time, I've got no time. I need more time. I wish I had time to. All of those. Now is more the immediate. Like, how do I get a plumber now? So now, again, less price sensitivity and now related issues. But you have to be in the right place at the right time and all that kind of stuff. So now is a pressing problem. Aspiration is a little different. So aspiration is somebody who wants to get somewhere. They want to if you've ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that at the top of the pyramid of the hierarchy is what they call self-actualization. That's where people want to mean something. They want their life to matter. They want to make a difference. They want to be recognized. They want to achieve. They want to fulfill their potential. So aspiration, things like premium, high luxury products are in the aspirational brands, in the aspirational quadrant. These kinds are there. So what problems or pains and frustrations can be in the aspiration? So these can be career. Perhaps somebody's got a lot of qualifications but can't find a job. Perhaps they're qualified to be a lawyer and they just can't find a role. Or perhaps they're doing something right now that they think is too low. Perhaps they think they've got management potential and they've been overlooked. These are examples of aspirational pains. People who want to show the world that they're successful, perhaps they have a reason that they want to show the world that they're successful. So that's an inner pain that they have. They're trying to show people they're successful. So you need to become the expert of your client's pain and the outcomes that they want to achieve. Now, people go, how can I become the expert of my client's pains and the outcomes they want to achieve? Well, generally, the great thing, the bit of light relief here for you, is that human beings, despite us being from different countries, different continents, different cultures, generally, if you examine a sample of human beings, you will find that they generally behave very similar. There's always quirks, but generally a group of people will behave in a similar way. So if you look at, perhaps you've been in business a while, if you look at some of your customers, you will find common threads of things that they say, things that they express, and you can go on Quora and places like this and search them out as well. But there will be commonalities of pain and goals that people want. So weight loss, for an example, is an obvious one. Business owners wanting to make more money. Business owners wanting more time to themselves. Business owners wanting to grow their business. There's lots of different commonalities. And you're looking for a common pain and an outcome that your product, service, and solution can solve. Because this is the fundamentals of building your messages, building your interaction on social media. So that's the pain matrix. I do go into this more in our main program, which launches in September. So if you want to join that, cool. But I've not got the slides up for it or anything yet because it's not quite finished. But here we go. So there's 4 cogs to social selling. 4 cogs. And I've actually just updated this in our new training session because I've renamed one of them to make them easier. So there's 4 cogs, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you are, these 4 things come into play. Without these, it won't work. So the first one is content. Producing content regularly, frequently, and centered around the pains, the outcomes, personal content, tips and hints, and of course some examples of things you've done for people who've had the pain that you're trying to help other people or potential people with. Now you need to be putting content out regularly and consistently because the algorithms require you to do this. People go, oh, well, I'll only post once a week. Well, the algorithm is just going to bury you, literally bury you. You will not be seen, you will not be noticed, you'll be like hiding your lamp under a bushel. So you have to be frequent in posting. I do it at least once a day. So I post at least once a day. Quite a big job, quite a big task, but it does work. The next one is engagement. So engagement is critical, not just because it adds credibility if you've got engagement on your post, but engagement is a trigger with the algorithms for visibility. So if your posts go out there and nobody likes or comments, nobody's going to see them. The amplification, they're not going to be amplified. They're not going to reach more people. So engagement really does matter. Likewise, you need to be engaging with your prospects, interacting with them, getting to know them, creating curiosity, interacting with them and comments on their stuff. That engagement is the thing that makes the social media world work. And without it, it all goes wrong. You need engagement on your stuff and on your prospect stuff, the people you want to help. Connection. You've got to interact with people, but you've got to build those relationships. Even on Facebook, and I'll show you this if we've got time. Even on Facebook, there are spaces and groups where you can connect with people or friend request people you don't know. But again, content and engagement help people accept and interact with you. Like for an example, let's say you're on Facebook and you're in a Facebook group and you're having a conversation with somebody about one of their posts, or they're engaging with your post and you're having a kind of back and forth in the comments. Do you really think that if you send them a friend request, they're going to ignore that friend request? Highly, highly unlikely. Of course they're going to accept it. If you've had a meaningful interaction, if you've not like thrown slurs and insults at each other, but you've just interacted over things that have been said in the post that's not, you promoting your thing or anything, of course people are going to accept and connect with you. Same on LinkedIn. Same on Instagram. If you interact with people and they interact with you, you're going to follow each other, you're going to friend request each other, you're going to connect with each other. And that's really important if you want to build the messaging back and forth and really cement that relationship so that they know you, you know them, and they start to build a bit more trust and belief in you and the difference you can make. So that connection is essential. You can't just hope for the best. You have to build those relationships. If you want to be social selling, you have to do this. I'll show you how this works in a second on Facebook. And then conversion. How are you going to convert people? Do you have a process to take people on? Remember that you're not going to convert, unless you're selling e-commerce stuff, you're not going to convert people there and then. They're going to interact with you, going to ask for more details, they're going to come on to something that takes them to something else. So it really is about interaction to create a conversion. So you have to design and build some things that take people on that conversion journey. Dimitri, believe it or not, and this is a fundamental principle that a lot of people, everybody goes for the pages, company page, Facebook page. These pages are designed by Facebook and LinkedIn to require ads. Absolutely require ads. So all the features that you need to do business with that person socially, because remember, social selling is people to people, not page to people. If you want to do that, pages can't do it. You can't get that back and forth. So you do need that personal interaction. Friend requests, person to person, connection requests, person to person. Now that might seem a bit weird, me saying that on Facebook, but I'm going to show you in a couple of seconds where that is. Oh, I need to change screens here so you can see the rest of the thing. Honor content creators. Honor is asking about content creation. So Honor, in one of our programs, we actually teach how to write content, and it's very different to what you think it might be. Because what a lot of people do is, oh, we need a blog and we have to put a blog out, or we need this, or we need that, or we need the other. The primary purpose of content is to showcase the problem, the outcome, and the need for a solution. And our team write articles for people, and when we write them, we have a 4P formula that we write content in. And it's not written for thought leadership so much as it's written to get people to make an inquiry, which is a very different piece of content. It's very different. So finding content people, some people can write really good journalistic content, but that isn't sales content, and that's the difference. Sales content has to be a mix of personal and professional. It has to have pain points in there, outcomes in there, solutions, credibility pieces. So it's a real mix of what should be on there. How long should content be on LinkedIn? I'll come to that one in a second. I just want to answer Michael's question about Sales Navigator. Michael, Sales Navigator, absolutely incredible if you have a system to use it. Now, I'm going to show you a system in a second you can use on LinkedIn and Facebook. But if, I said I wasn't going to promo, but if you are serious about getting your head round Sales Navigator, I think we've actually got a little training course for like 50 quid or something. And it teaches you what we call a 30-day roadmap of how to use Sales Navigator to engage with prospects, engage with leads, and get conversations going, even if you don't know them, haven't met them, from Adam. Sales Navigator is incredible, by the way, absolutely incredible. So yes, highly advocate Sales Nav. How long should content be? Again, it's really about not rushing it, because what we sometimes do is we use a question at the top, get people's attention, and then immediately dive into a sales pitch. What we have to do is get people emotionally engaged with the problem, which it takes a bit more time at the top of the post to really get people interested to know more, and actually the details at the end. So I'd really ease that out because it really does matter. Just before I go on to the next thing, and I'm going to invite you to send an email for this. We have some engagement groups for social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you're posting on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you can join our groups for free, and we all work together to support each other's posts to help the algorithm. So the algorithm helps amplify your content. They're totally free, but where I put this out a few weeks ago, and we had about 30 or 40 people say, I'm in, and they're posting regularly each day, and they're seeing their views go up and up and up and up. So it really does work. And if you want to be part of those, just email us or find me on LinkedIn and message me on LinkedIn or hi@maverrik.com, and we'll get you those links, and you can use those groups completely free to help you kickstart your content, start to get it seen by more people, and get the reach that you really want. So totally free. If you don't want it, there's no problem. There's no obligation to us for it. It's something we do to just help people out and help them kickstart. And the best way to learn what works with content is to post, and to post regularly. If you post regularly, you will get results regularly. The more often you post, the more you'll learn about your content, the more you can improve it, tweak it, and refine it. So just another little testimonial from one of the people we did on our, this was a LinkedIn training course. So I'm going to show you two really, really, really simple strategies you can do right now. So dead simple. So yes, there will be a recording of this, so you can come back and watch it again. The link will be live, but this will be unlisted from tomorrow. So you'll still be able to click the link, but we'll unlist it. Here we go. So this is the 7 steps which we teach. So the 7 steps is just a very simple process you can do to interact with literally anybody, to build a relationship, interact with them, and bring them into your world. So step 1 is like something that they're doing. Step 2, like and comment on something, whether it be the same thing or their comment on something. And the comment is meaningful about whatever the prospect's posting. So if they're talking about widgets, you interact with them about widgets. Ask them questions, interact with them. The aim being is you want to have that kind of back and forth in the comments, interacting pleasantly, of course, not ripping shreds out of each other like some social platforms. So pleasantly, and then you can connect, you can friend request, and you can follow. And when they reciprocate or when they accept, you just say thank you. No pitch other than a little bit of an intro. Thank you for connecting, or thank you for accepting my friend request. This is what I do. Look forward to seeing your post. Have a great evening, Dean. Really low key, no sales pitch. The reason being is you don't want people to be put off by interacting with you at the first thing. So you just tell people what you do. Now, one of my students that went on a coaching program with us, they actually got a ton of inquiries just from doing that thank you. Just a really low key. This is what I do. Great to connect. Look forward to seeing your posts. Really low key. So that thank you and intro, short and sweet, not war and peace, not multi-paragraph, maybe 4 sentences plus your sign off, kind regards, Dean. So then you would still continue to like and comment as we've done before. And now we come to step number 7. And step number 7 is where Rainmaker would say about the lead magnet. Now, lead magnets can be done in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be just a lead magnet. It could be a webinar. It could be a challenge. It could be a question. It could be a straight request of, I'd love to talk to you about this, but I know I don't want to be a bit pushy, but if this is a problem you're facing, could we have a quick chat sometime? Could be that low key if you wanted to do it. Could be a lead magnet, could be a webinar. So lead magnets. People tie themselves in knots with lead magnets. It just needs to be a piece of value that shows people that you can make a difference to them. So it could be, for an example, I could do, in fact, I've got one here that our team's been writing today, if I can find it, which is literally just a checklist of key things that you should be doing to optimize your LinkedIn account if you want to sell socially. So this is the draft we did in Docs, and it's literally about 20 little check boxes. Now we'll jazz this up a little bit, but you could just do it like this with a little graphic at the top. And I might send this out and say, would you like a free checklist of things to optimize to make sure that your profile and what you're doing on LinkedIn isn't undermining your social selling activity? And I'll share that. People will take it. They'll end up, they'll give me their email or something like that. And then I can invite them to follow up with something else. Perhaps would they like to come to one of our social selling programs for LinkedIn? Perhaps they'd want to do it on Facebook, that kind of thing. But that's the idea. The 7 steps are to warm people to you, disarm people about you, and bear in mind, if you're connecting here at stage 3, they're going to see your content quite regularly. They're going to see you interacting quite regularly. So it's not like this is a complete stranger. When you look at this, you go, wow, 7 steps and I'm going to be pitching them. Well, you're not going to be pitching in that sense, but also bear in mind, along the way, you will have had several back and forths with this person. So it won't be as cold as it might seem looking at it at a high level here, because there will be some relational interaction and they'll have seen some of your posts, seen some of your personal, some of your business posts. And some people say, how long should this process go for? Well, this process could be 7 days. It could be 14 days. You decide. What you can't do is let this go for 7 months. It needs to be over a relatively short period of time, because if it's too long, people will forget you exist. And if it's too short, it'll be too pushy. So the minimum of 7 days, but actually you'd probably pace this out a little bit more, up to say 2 weeks. So lead magnet's really simple. Now, if you want to write a lead magnet, you can do it in Word, save it as a PDF. If you want a low-cost way to build a landing page, MailChimp do it. It's about £14 a month in the UK, probably less in other countries. And you can literally plug in a domain and you've got a landing page. You drag and drop landing page. You can make, anybody can make it. And you've got a little web page, deanseddon.com, LinkedIn checklist, and away you go. Dead simple, done, dusted. Make that in about 5-10 minutes. And literally MailChimp can email them the link to the PDF straight after they've filled in that form. Done, dusted, simple. Now I'm going to show you a bolt-on to this to make Facebook a little bit easier. So the bolt-on to this is the hook, incubate, and hatch. And again, this is where you really need to understand your customers and their pain points really, really well. So this is particularly good, hook, incubate, and hatch, in Facebook groups. LinkedIn groups are not so great, but Facebook groups are brilliant. You can find a Facebook group on pretty much anything, from packaging buyers, marketing managers, business owners, Etsy store owners, Amazon store owners, fitness instructors, coaches, consultants, finance directors, anything you can think of, there's a group about it. Now, some of the things about groups that's really important is you can't just go in there and promote. You'll get kicked out. Groups have some kind of other interest. The people who admin them, the people who made those groups, the people who built those groups have their own interests. And they usually make the rule that you can't promote. So you can't put links to your website in there. You can't do all of that stuff other than on particular days. It has to be something that helps the community. So how do you use these groups to find your relationships? So here's a really simple way. You find the groups and join the groups. Interact with the people in the group. The people who are interesting, the people who are very regular posters, and the people who you think are your target audience with those pains and frustrations that you have, and interact with them. But then what you can do is use hook content, what I call hook content, which is where you pose a question which helps people who have the problem or want the outcome that you can help them with come to the surface. So for an example, if I'm a fitness instructor, and I don't know whether you can see this here, but for looking at me, you can obviously tell I'm not a fitness instructor. But if I was, and I was part of a group of business owners in Birmingham group, or a community group in Birmingham, whatever it is, and I'm looking to help business owners keep fit and keep their body in shape whilst they're running their business, I could join the Birmingham Business Owners group and say to the group, how many people have put on weight during lockdown? And loads of people would give their opinion. And I would respond and interact with their comments and have meaningful conversations. And then I would friend request them, like we did in the previous steps, like and comment, interact, and friend request them as I've interacted with them in the group. And again, thank you and follow the steps. And my job there is to just keep interacting, keep sharing my thoughts, keep sharing that Pod's content is the problem, the outcome, and the decision and the solution, the key elements of it. And I would keep letting them see my content and then use conversion content, e.g. lead magnets, exactly like the previous diagram, to pull them in and take the conversation further. So that's how I do it in a Facebook group. It's generally a bolt-on to the 7 steps. So you would use these in basically as a simpler version of this, but it works brilliantly in Facebook groups. Dive into the groups, ask questions that are relevant and surrounding the pain points that my customers have, so that I can interact with them, then connect with them, then friend request them, and then let them see my content, interact with their content. So I'm keeping that algorithmic connection good. Engagement keeps people visible. So engagement on their posts will keep them visible to you, and if they engage on yours. So it creates this reciprocal relationship, and that's what you want. Incubate the relationship with engagement and use Pod's content to keep people's interest peaked, both personal, business, promotional, pain, outcomes, solutions, testimonials, but personal stuff as well. Don't go too businessy. People want to buy from people, so they want to know who the real you is as well. And then hatch them, which is effectively step 7. A lead magnet, a message, a question, something like that. Very, very simple. And this is effectively the very simplest, or the simplest social selling strategy that you can implement. The 7 steps, and bolt on, hook, incubate, and hatch if you're going to do it in Facebook, and do it in the Facebook groups. Now, some people go, I'm not sure about doing that with Facebook. You will find lots of business-related groups on Facebook. If you're B2B, you will find them, and people go, really? Really? And you will. You will find these groups of business owners, business professionals in Facebook groups. And when you interact with them, when you join those groups, you are declaring to the world you're in there for a business purpose. So when they interact, when you interact with them and they interact with you, they are saying it's free to communicate back and forth. And you can send them a friend request. And if you're feeling nervous about it, you can just say, I hope you don't mind me sending you a friend request. I had a really good conversation with you in the group. Love to connect. Not offended if you don't want to. All the best, Dean. Really low key. Again, you're not trying to push people into a sale. You're just trying to build up the connection so that your visibility and their visibility with you is strong, so that you've got that ability to message them at the right time. Not straight away, but the right time. Any questions so far? I know Honor has said he's got a question, so let me see if I can pull that up on my screen. But if anybody else has got any questions, I'm more than happy to oh, I haven't got any questions yet. Oh, there's Louis. Any questions? Let me just have a look here. And Louis, thank you for your kind words on LinkedIn. Appreciate it. Any other questions you want to go through? Wow, I've done it in record timing with no questions. I'm impressed with myself for a change. So this is a very simple strategy. Of course, if you want some more help, I can help you. Rainmaker's asked... Rainmaker's asked, can we do it? So let me show you how I do it. Let me just pull up my Facebook and I'll put it on screen. So hopefully you can see my Facebook now. Let's say, for an example, I have a lead magnet. So I'll go Maverrik.com /free webinar. I I think this is the right one. Yeah. So I've got various different lead magnets, and I'd be interacting with people, and anybody I'd interact, I'd just drop them a message. Just literally drop them a message. And just share. Ruth is maybe watching, in which case apologies, but it's very, very simple. But the key thing is the interaction, the engagement, the back and forth between you that really makes this work. Very, very simple to do. Just literally message through. And MailChimp has some great landing pages you can do very, very cheaply and very easily. So it's not rocket science to do. Yeah, you just need to understand the pain points and the outcomes that your customers might be seeking. Become an expert in them. Study those, because if you can do that, you can write content, you can produce downloads, you can produce webinars. That's easily done. Silver Feather has said, do you suggest us more powerful alternative to live webinar? So Silver, I always do webinars. I do some lead magnets, but I do webinars primarily because people get to see me. So I believe that the principle of doing business in B2B, particularly for what I do, which is training and teaching, is that people get a flavor, a taste of what we can do and what we can offer. So I do webinars because you get to see me, you get to know a bit about me, you get to see my quirks, you get to see my weird bits. So when you engage, when you make an inquiry, you're making an inquiry knowing I'm a bit quirky, but I'm also highly focused on getting a result for you. So you get that trust. Whereas with a lead magnet, it's a bit more difficult because you don't get any sense of who the person is. But it's a good start. Louisa, it's hi@maverrik.com. Hi@maverrik.com. I think Terry's put it into the .co.uk and it's .com. Hi@maverrik.com. I'll put it in the chat now. Hi@maverrik.com. If you want to be part of those engagement groups, just message us hi@maverrik.com and you can interact with us and we'll get you into those groups on WhatsApp that will help you. So no problem there. So yes, I encourage webinars. What I do is, it's a little bit of a cheat. A lot of people build a landing page for a webinar. I do them on YouTube. And the reason I do them on YouTube is because, one, YouTube's my second channel. But two, I do them on YouTube because algorithmic benefits happen by lots of you coming to watch something and liking and subscribing, which amplifies that video around the YouTube. So tonight we've had so far 150 playbacks, but that by tomorrow will probably be up to 200, and over, say, an 8 to 9 month time scale, I will have got 400, 500, 600, 700 people have watched some of this video, which will help me demonstrate to people, one, I believe what I'm saying, two, they can get a flavor of what it's like to work with me and what I'm like, and three, it's a great way for people to go, this is who I'm dealing with. You know, websites and all this kind of shiny marketing stuff can hide you behind an amazing brand, but nobody knows the real person. They get to know me. You get to know me. And I think that's really powerful in B2B, that people buy from people. So how can I get myself in front of more people and demonstrate what I can do for them? So I do the free webinars. Some people will come to the free webinars and get loads of value and go, those guys are really nice people. And that's good for me too. And some people will come and go, actually, I really need their help. And they'll make an inquiry. That's great too. So that's kind of why I do webinars more so than anything else. Any other questions? I might have an early night tonight at this rate. No more questions? You've been a very good audience tonight. Really, I always enjoy doing these, but I always get a little bit nervous beforehand and making sure I can answer all the questions. Rainmaker, anybody can do them. I'm just going live. I've just done a scheduled live on YouTube. I invited people through, I think, a bit of ads, a bit of email to come to the webinar. They've registered on Eventbrite, and we've sent them a link to join it on YouTube. So it's just a live YouTube. But from my point of view, I've got all of you guys engaging with it here, creating algorithm benefits, and I'm building an audience on YouTube, which is brilliant. Is cold calling dead? No, Curtis, it's not dead, but there are problems. There are problems with cold calling. More and more businesses are now going to be working from home. That requirement to have office lines and landlines in the same way that we had before COVID is gone. So that's kind of, it's going to make it harder to reach people, I think. It's going to be harder. I don't think it's dead, but it will be harder. Michael, I may just do that. I may just have a beer. Well, I'm a cider person, really, rather than beer. Stuart, how long does it start to building connection on LinkedIn if you post it every day? Stuart, if you're part of our engagement group, you will notice your results from day one starting to rise. Now, it may be slower, but you can literally go and start connecting every single day. So typically, maybe 25 connections a day. Start there and build up. Don't do too much too quickly. Mukesh, you've asked a really good question about how to go to do a live on YouTube. So I'm going further and far beyond. So Mukesh, I expect a big glowing Google review for this one because I'm going way beyond social selling. There is a free piece of software you can use called OBS. You literally set up a stream on YouTube. It'll give you the streaming key. You drop it into OBS and away you go. And the great thing about OBS is you can do all the transitions. So you can transition screens. So you can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this. And it's all into like a broadcast, but it's totally free. OBS Studio, download on PC or Mac, and you're literally away. You're set up. I've got, if I could show you my setup, I've got the YouTube stream here, the live stream with you chatting on my left, and just to the left of it on another screen here, I've got me and the OBS screen, which has got all of the different scenes that I've created. Really, really easy to do. It took me a while because I was a bit daunted when I first saw it a couple of years ago, but it's actually really straightforward. Any more questions? I did say I'd show you Vasco whilst you're here. So, Vasco, do you want to come say hello? And I'm not stood on stilts, by the way.
So, hi, everybody.
So Vasco has been with...
No, come on. I'm taller than you. He's tilting this.
The camera's tilted. No, I've been working with Vasco. Vasco's been part of Maverrik for 3 years.
Yep.
And how many people's been through our paid programs now?
I don't know.
Thousands.
Lots of thousands. And if you mix everything together, I'll go into near 100,000.
Yeah. Some of the free and low-cost webinars, probably about 100,000. Right. Hi, cousin, Louis says.
Hi, Louis.
So any other questions before I sign off and go and have my cider, which I think Curtis suggested? Any other questions? Stand up Vasco, Terry said.
Oh, on my stilts, I suppose.
So, guys, if there's nothing more you want me to answer, all I will say is, please do spread the word about the value we're giving. Obviously, you're not going to do it to your competitors, but if there's people you think we can add value to, get them onto the webinars, get them to come here. Yes, Michael, Vasco is a fella Safa.
That's true. Yep. All the way from down there.
And, do subscribe to the channel. Come find me on LinkedIn. Come find me on Facebook. Happy to connect and be Facebook friends. And
be in touch.
If not, is this the same Vasco of South Africa? It is the same Vasco of South Africa.
It is, Dimitri.
So, guys, I'm going to sign off. have a fantastic rest of the week. I will be back here next Tuesday at
Yep.
7 p.m. UK with a new session, and it's actually one we've not done before. So it's a brand new session on something about, I think we are doing USPs and how to find a USP.
Just put it on your diary. Next Tuesday, same hour, we will be
Same
here.
place.
Same place. We will not run away. Hopefully the weather is as good as today.
I don't mind doing a webinar when it's raining. Guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Come find me on social, and yeah, have a great week.
Cheers, guys. Look at all this stuff.